My name is Nicolas, and in this video I'm going to talk about swimming. Swimming is a skill. Swimming is a self-propulsion of a person through water, usually for recreation, sport, or survival. Locomotion is achieved through coordinated movement of the limbs, the body, or both. Why is it swimming a skill? Because skill is learned and requires practice. That's why swimming is skill. Swimming is a sport. Swimming is an individual or team racing sport that requires the use of one's entire body to move through water. The sport takes place in pools or even open water, such as seas and lakes. History of swimming. There are some evidences that have been found pertaining to recreational swimming through a Stone Age painting 10,000 years ago. In 1828, the first indoor pool that was opened in public in England was called St. George Bath. And after 2 years or around 1830s, swimming emerged as a competitive recreational activity. And in 1837, the National Swimming Society was holding a regular swimming competitions in 6 artificial swimming pools built around London. Chapter 1. Swimming Techniques. First one is freestyle stroke. Freestyle stroke, also known as front crawl, is the fastest and most efficient of the competitive swimming strokes. Freestyle stroke is the karaniwang ginagamit ng mga swimmers and triathletes through competition. Next one is elementary backstroke. Elementary backstroke is a swimming technique that is easy to learn and therefore useful for improving your water confidence as a beginner. As its name indicates, it is swum on the back and uses a simple arm stroke in conjunction with the breaststroke kick for propulsion. Next is side stroke. The side stroke is a swimming stroke, so named because the swimmer lies on one side with asymmetrical arm and leg motion, and it is helpful stroke used as a life-saving. Next one is breaststroke. Breaststroke is a style of swimming on one's front, in which the arms are pushed forward and then swept back in a circular movement while the legs are tucked in toward the body and kick out in a corresponding movement. Chapter 2. Floating Techniques. First one is vertical survival float. The vertical survival float is also used for survival situations and is typically used by swimmers with lower body fat who are not buoyant enough to stay near the water surface using the horizontal survival float or prone float. Next one is back float. Back float is a floating positions on one's back with arms extended to the sides and the face upward. A back float is used when a swimmer is pagod na, and it serves also as rest kapag yung swimmer is tired of swimming. Next is treading water. Treading water has the swimmer in an up and down position like the vertical survival float, but the arms and legs are used to keep the head above the surface of the water at all times. To stay afloat, move the hands in a figure 8 pattern just under the water surface and move the legs as you are pedaling a bicycle. Next one is trouser inflation. It is a lower garment used by the victim or operative as a floating device. Trouser inflations, these are the mga pantalon na ginagamit ng mga swimmers or rescuers for them to stay afloat. And blouse inflation is an upper garment used by the victim or also the operative as a floating device. Chapter 3. Rescue Swimming. Rescue swimming refers to skills that enable an individual to attempt a rescue when a swimmer is in difficulty. These include a combination of communication skills, specific rescue swimming strokes, and release and evade techniques for self-preservation should the rescue go wrong. Rescue swimming only happens, of course, when there is someone or there is a swimmer drowning in the middle of the water surface that is so deep. The purpose of emergency response, a water rescue shall be defined as any incident that involves the removal of victims from any body of water than a swimming pool. This includes a river, lakes, or any body of water, whether it is still or moving. From the outset, once a swimmer in difficulty is spotted, eye contact must be maintained at all times because you have to make sure na yung victim is nandun lang and hindi mo siya papabayaan. Assess the situation environment, available physical equipment, and others who can help. Attempt to establish voice contact, which is successful, can often result in a voice rescue. A rescuer should enter the water only as a last resort. Last resort meaning kung wala na talagang anybody na tutulong dun sa victim that is drowning. Rescue should be attempted in the following order: reach, wade, throw, and row. Types of swimming and rescue approach: front approach, back approach, and underwater approach. We have also golden rule of water rescue. Number 1 is never place yourself close enough to be grabbed by a panicking victim, and second is always place distance and device between rescuer and the victim. Two golden rule, but it has the same meaning. As a rescuer, you have to place distance or place something between you and the victim because your role is to save the victim, not joining the victim to drown. Safety considerations of rescuer. Rescuing a drowning person is the last resort, and you should do anything possible to avoid getting into a dangerous situation in the first place. As a rescuer, wag agad-agad pumunta dun sa water surface. Instead, search the area if there is some long sticks or even scarps or ropes, and lifesaver or salbabida that you can give to the victim so that you can save him or her or them without even touching the water surface. Because if you have to make a rescue attempt, think of your own safety first and never put yourself in danger. And if the rescue is too dangerous, wait until the emergency services arrive. If you think that the situation is too dangerous and you cannot help, just wait until the emergency services arrive. Basic principles of water rescue operation. Must secure the immediate area and assure that no more citizens that enter the water, because if there are citizens that forces to enter the water and just trying to help and nagkamali sila and they drowned, that will cause more problems. Make quick assessments of the hazard associated with the water speed, temperature, debris, and possible contamination. Consider the potential hazard to rescuer and the victims. Consider the risk or benefit factor and the gain versus loss if the worst happens. If the benefit is high and the risk to rescues is low, move forward with the action plan. If you can see that the rescue operation can be tough, you should not continue it and wait till the emergency arrives. Pero kapag you can help, you can save them, and the risk is low, make the move or take the action plan. If the risk is high to rescuers and the benefit of the victim is low, wait for technical rescue team before committing personnel to the rescue. As I said before, the rescue options will be considered and executed in order from low risk to high risk. Kinds of rescue technique. First one is reach technique. With a long stick or scarf or clothes or any material, crouch or lie down to avoid getting pulled in. Reach technique is using only a scarf, a clothes, or even a long stick, and then crouch or bend your knees so that you will not get pulled in. Next is wade technique. Test the depth with a long stick before wading in, and then use the stick to reach out and hold on to someone else or the bank. It's just the same with the reach technique, but you are just only using a long stick, and then you should have someone or something to hold on so that you can avoid being pulled in. Next one is throw technique. A rope is best. You can pull in the person, otherwise throw something that will float like a ball, a plastic bottle, or a life buoy. This will keep the person afloat until the help comes. Simple, you will just throw something like salbabida, ganon, mga plastic bottles that has a cap, because if you will throw a plastic bottle without a cap, it will also drown the victim. Next is row technique. Use the boat if there is anyone nearby, and if you can use it safely, of course. Do not try to pull the victim on board in case they panic and capsize the boat. You should be pulling the victim kapag nalilesen na yung pagpapanik niya or the anxiety. Next is equipments in swimming. First is swimsuit. Competitive swimwear seeks to improve upon bare skin for a speed advantage and coverage. In 2009, FINA rules and regulations were altered, and suits made with polyurethane were banned because they made athletes more buoyant. More buoyant meaning mas pinapalutang niya yung athlete, so that swimsuit made with polyurethane were banned in 2009. Next is swim cap. A swim cap keeps the swimmer's hair out of the way to reduce drag. Swim cap is just equipment used by swimmers to avoid his or her hair going to his face. Next is goggles. Goggles keep water and chlorine sa mata ng swimmer so that he can swim properly and see his way clearly. Next is rubber fins. Rubber fins are used to help kick faster and build strength and technique. Rubber fins help a swimmer to swim faster, but rubber fins is prohibited or bawal in any kinds of swimming competitions. It is just used for recreational activity or even practice.